Wouldn't be Ryan the Great, and today we are talking the Philadelphia Eagles 2024 draft, guys. Now, I'm not going to be covering the first round of the draft because I've already done that on my full reaction video to the very first round. Obviously, I have my analysis to the Eagles drafting Quinyon Mitchell, number one. With their first round. So we're just going to be going rounds 2 through 7. Well, technically rounds 2 through 6 because the Eagles only did not have a 7th round pick. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. So we're just going to get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother, the Great Vlogs. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X or Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the video and let's roll that intro. Wouldn't be Ryan the Great, and today it'll be intercepted! The defensive line. What the hell are you doing? No effort whatsoever when it came to the defense. Bat, he is 0 for 2 today. Come on, Stotty. Stop! 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 Red slam! First pitch! Bring him in! Braxton! Stop! Woo! Bring that! Yes! Oh, damn. 1, 2, 3. What? Alright, let's start the video. So starting off, we're going to start off with round 2, because obviously I just mentioned we're not going to be doing round 1. So round 2, Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. Now listen, I love this pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. I originally had him going 19, 20, I believe it was, and he fell all the way to the second round. This could be the steal of the draft if he's able to pan out. I didn't think the Eagles were going to be able to get him because they obviously drafted Mitchell in that very first round. I was raving about DeJean in the pre-draft process, and now he is officially a Philadelphia Eagle. I really do like that. As I mentioned before, he could play anywhere on the field. He can play safety. He can play outside on the corner. He can play a slot corner. He can do anything on the field. He does do well in the deep ball. Did not let up one touchdown on coverage snaps last season. I think he just has to be a bit better when it comes on to taking on blockers, but other than that, he should be ready to go for the NFL. Next in round 3, I can't pronounce his first name, so I'm just going to try my best. Jalix Hunt, the defensive end out of Houston Christian University. Now, listen, I am not too sure, or I'm not too familiar with this guy. Apparently, he played well in the Southland Conference. That is the not the greatest thing, but it's something to look at a positive, I guess. He won Defensive Player of the Year in that conference. I assume he'll be taking the Nolan Smith and Nakobe Dean route, which means he will not be playing much in his first season. He'll primarily be playing on special teams, and in his second season, he'll most likely get more reps. I do think he does need to get a little bit bigger, just kind of, if you look at him, he does need to get a bit stronger. Obviously, I can't talk, but, for football, he does seem to be a bit of a speed rusher when you do watch a bit of his tape, which I've religiously said that you definitely need to have if you're going to play defensive end in the NFL. You definitely need to be somewhat of a speed rusher. He's not going to make an immediate impact. That's why I'm not too high on this pick. But apparently this is a Vic Fangio, selection. Apparently he was very high on Hunt coming out of the draft, so I trust him a lot more than I would trust Sean Desai on these sort of things, so it is what it is. Next in round 4, we have, they took Will Shipley, the running back out of Clemson. Now, listen, when the Eagles made this pick, I was not too happy with it because I really wanted them to take Jeremiah Trotter Jr. here, but, he fell for some reason, and I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. Howie did a really good job, trading down, getting picks for next season. I believe he has a 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. There might be 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I don't know, something around there, that combination. Bottom line is he has a lot of draft picks for next season, which is obviously very, very good. And we were still able to get all the guys we really wanted to get. So anyway, Will Shipley, this is another pick I'm a bit iffy about. He's coming off an injury. He's probably going to be playing behind Saquon Barkley. He's going to have to compete for that job. along with Kenneth Gainwell. The only thing I'd give Gainwell, I think they're pretty equal, but the thing is, Gainwell's a lot better of a pass protector. This guy cannot pass protect to save his life, and that is a very big problem when it comes to the fact that, when you watch the Eagles last year, the teams send a lot of guys, extra guys on the rush to try and make Jalen Hurts get out of the pocket and run. Teams know that the Eagles don't want to do that, or don't want him doing that, that being, getting out of the pocket and running. So, you're going to need somebody to take that extra man on the rush. See, that is not Shipley at the current moment in time. Kenneth Gainwell definitely does a better job at that. When it actually comes to running the football, I like his first step ability off the line of scrimmage. He does have a big burst of energy, something that DeAndre Swift did have, which is obviously something very, very good. His size is a lot left to be desired. He is 5'11", and he does, not do well when contact is created. But the good thing about that is that the Eagles have some very large men on the offensive line, and they should be able to open a hole for him to at least get a few yards and get in space when he does eventually carry the football, which I wouldn't assume would be that much next season, but, he definitely could get some reps if he does end up beating Kenneth Gainwell out for the job. Next, in round 5, Amos Smith, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. The NFC East is stacked with a lot of very good linebackers. Obviously, Bobby Wagner just joined the division. You have Micah Parsons. Brian Burns has just entered the division as well. Now, not all these guys play in coverage. They do occasionally from time to time. And I think this is going to work out very well for Smith because he can take hits over the middle and hang on to the football. His ability to run after the catch, not that much, but I think that is okay. I think there were a little bit better of receivers on the board when you wanted to pick. I'm surprised Brendan Rice, the son of Jerry Rice, fell pretty far in the draft. I think he fell until the 6th round. I was pretty surprised about that one. I thought there were better guys on the board. I feel like he'll be used more on special teams, though, as a punt returner. Maybe he'll be splitting reps with Brenton Covey in, training camp. We'll have to see who wins that job. I feel like we will be using him more, though, as, I don't want to say, Taysom Hill, because obviously he's not going to be throwing the football, but I feel like he's going to just kind of be doing everything on the offensive side. He might be running, on jet sweeps and end around, stuff like that. He might be used more for trick plays. Is that a bad thing? No, but, how many trick plays do you really run per season? And how many jet sweeps do you really run per game? So it wasn't really the greatest pick. But what was a really great pick was Jeremiah Trotter Jr., also in the 5th round, linebacker taken out of Clemson. Now, obviously, this is a great story for Eagles fans. Obviously, Jeremiah Trotter, the father of Jeremiah Trotter Jr., great linebacker here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, of course, you love to see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. being taken for the Philadelphia Eagles. One, because he's from St. Joe's Prep. Then obviously, his father's here, so a legacy pick. But do not let his past take away from what he can do on the field. He is a great IQ. He's one of the smartest linebackers in this draft. He can make every single play. While his IQ and him trying to outsmart guys does, affect him in some ways, that being, he might go through the wrong gap and miss a running back. But for the most part, he can make every single play. He makes the right play. He's very good when taking on blocks. He makes the perfect move to get around to get by linebackers, or get by linemen, sorry. His arm size is a bit not great, and that's how you really want to say it there. He is a little bit undersized, but Nakobe Dean is a bit undersized himself. But when he is on the field, which is never, he is a pretty good linebacker. He plays well. Once again, he can do everything on the field. He can tackle. He's really good going for the ball. I believe he had 3 forced fumbles last season for Clemson. The only thing he really struggles in is coverage. He does not do well in the play action. But I think he can patch that up, once he gets into the Eagles facility. So we will have to see there. Round 5, continuing in round 5, the Eagles take Trevor Keegan, offensive guard out of Michigan. This pick, I'm not a big fan of it. his athleticism is just not that good at all. Like, it's just bad, man. You can get away with that in college, but in the NFL, that's not, you can't, guys are just going to run right around you if you don't have the athleticism and speed and the footwork. It's just not going to work out. Now, while Jeff Stoutland is probably the best O-line coach, if not the best O-line coach. Yeah, he is the best O-line coach in the NFL. Let's just say it how it is. I think he will be able to develop Keegan. Now this guy does do well in double teams. He does have experience when it comes to leadership. He obviously was a captain on the Michigan Wolverines that just won the national championship. In my opinion, this is not the best pick. Obviously, he probably will not be playing much in the near future, but if Stoutland can develop and he could maybe be a decent backup for this team, I'm not necessarily sure, so we'll just have to see. A pick that I really like, though, is Johnny Wilson, wide receiver out of FSU. Now, I had watched some ACC games. I watched some FSU games over these past couple of seasons, and I am a really big fan of this guy. Like, he is 6'6", 231. I believe I got the weight correctly. I'm a very big fan. He runs his curl route absolutely beautifully, which is a route that Jalen Hurts does throw particularly well to. I think he can become a pretty good run blocker, kind of like a Zacchaeus, which why the Eagles didn't use, I have no idea. It's a shame to see him go. But, when you look at Zacchaeus last year and you look at his impact, his blocks got us a lot more yards, got us some touchdowns, got us, a lot of, extra plays. What do you call it? I just lost my train of thought. When it comes to his actual route running, it doesn't seem he's that good with creating separation. He does not do the best job when it comes to getting out of his breaks. I feel like he can be used a little bit more as a tight end. Because obviously our wide receiver room is kind of filling up. We have obviously A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Devontae Parker will most likely be playing in the slot. This guy, you have this, Smith, who obviously the Eagles probably have a little bit more faith in, being the fact that they took him in the 5th round and Wilson being taken in the 6th. So he might have to be used a little bit more as a tight end, but even the tight end room is taken up. You obviously have, Calcaterra, you have Goddard, you have Stoll. So there really is not room for Wilson to play that much in his first season. But if he can develop and become a little bit more of a, get better with his footwork and create more separation, I definitely think he could be a decent 3rd or 4th option for the Eagles. Next, in the 6th round, Dylan McMahon, center taken out of NC State. He does have good IQ. I will give him that. He does a good job of making linemen over-pursue. His transitions from the 1st and 2nd level blocking are decent. But his ability to in the run game is not that good. He does not create open holes for running backs. And his ability to lock onto defenders' shoulder pads, like getting up under the shoulder pads, does not do a good job with that as well. Which definitely leads to guys getting through the holes on when it comes to extra men on the rush, which is a bit of a problem because, as I mentioned earlier, teams like to send extra men on the rush when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. So he's definitely going to have to get that fixed. But once again, Jeff Stoutland, the best offensive line coach in the NFL, he hopefully will be able to patch up any concerns that he has. So if I was giving a grade for the Philadelphia Eagles in this draft, I would definitely give it an A. You could give an A+, but obviously, I don't, there's just really no reason to give an A+. Nothing, you didn't really get that many steals. You might have got 1 or 2, but, your whole draft was not based off, getting the steals of the draft. So I would give it an A. Very solid draft by Howie Roseman. He got more picks for last year or next season, next off-season draft. He had a very good draft. I always like to give him don't like to, but I always give him a lot of criticism for what he does in the NFL draft. But he really did really has hit a home run in these last few drafts, if I'm being honest. Hopefully that keeps going. I'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lindy Gray Vlogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go find me on X RTG. Make sure you guys go find me on TikTok at Renegade RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the Star 7 podcast. Make sure you guys go find me on Twitch at Renegade Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.